absolutely no way that this is going to go well.
The real question is, what are you attributing all of this preparation to? Like, what do you point to as the catalyst to bring you this far?
I think it's just the teacher in me is really setting in like week 5 or 6, and I'm like, these things need to happen in order. But the problem is that, you know, all of our guests, our co-hosts, whatever, are kind of the students, and we've started off the, in quote, school year, aka the podcast, by starting late, you know, going for 2 hours, just not giving a shit. And so now when we come, this is the oldest trick in the book for new teachers. Don't do this. And you try to fix things, you know, a year and a half later, trying to shorten up the pod, try to start on time, and it just doesn't work because you have no respect.
Utter lack of respect. Like the Rodney Dangerfield. Open bar.
No respectpa. RESTECP.
Hey, you better
we in the house.
Put some respect on my name.
Well, we're live. If you didn't realize, JDB and Walk, I had a great little lesson, or for the lack of a better term, for all my peeps out there teaching. I see you grinding. Okay, we're almost to Thanksgiving. We're live. It's the open bar. It's been a couple weeks. It's 9:30 Eastern ish, and we gonna do it. We gonna do it right. J Mike, how you doing, my man?
Bro, so much has changed in such little time. I'm fantastic, bro. I feel like there's a lot we probably need to address at some point with people. Like one, this whole starting on time-ish and ending at a decent time. That's something that to some degree we've got to address. Fitzmagic, I still believe, even after 3 weeks, even after 3 interceptions, the man still throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns
every week.
It's automagic. I don't know what to tell you. It's automagic. I feel like there's something else.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, several players are a thing in the NFL. Never mind. We'll get into all of that. But yes, I'm happy to be here with you. Happy that the bar is back open. The saloon door has swung wide open. A couple of I like that.
That was my
to me, I hear open bar and there's no time frames.
A couple of hombres have come. A couple of hombres have come to crack open one with us and chop it up. So I'm excited to get into it. Let's do it.
All right. Speaking of hombres, we got some 40s, or we've got 2 of the 3. I don't know the math. The 40 is not divisible by 3. It's not divisible by 3, so I wasn't going to go there.
2/3.
Carry it 2.
Carry it 2. Wait a second here. We have JDB straight out of Law and Order SVU.
Bum, bum,
1/3 of the Fantasy 40. How you doing tonight, my man?
Bum, bum,
bum, bum, bum, bum, bum.
I wasn't expecting such a powerful intro. I'm taken aback. I'm speechless.
Perfect. We'll move on to Walk then. Walk. How are you doing? And are you drinking a 40 for the 40?
I should. I kind of feel like I'm already letting our 7 fans down.
God damn it.
12-ounce can of beer that I have here.
Big opportunity. Open bar, Fantasy 40.
Well, listen, I'm also terribly disappointed after the intro that John got and let fall on his face that you gave me absolutely nothing. So maybe on the next one I'll bring the 40. So
I think you had an opportunity to hold up your hashtag brand, and you failed miserably.
I did.
But we still love you, though. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, listen, happy to be here, guys.
Favorite punter so far this year, guys, from the Fantasy 40 minds?
No, it's Michael Dixon.
Yeah, buddy.
Without question.
That's who I got, J Mike.
Guy's a rock star. Yeah, it was the best move that Pete Carroll made in that draft.
Yeah, they traded up, and everybody's like, they traded up to take a punter, and then 3 weeks in, it was not a bad move. They could have traded up. They should have took him in the first instead of Penny.
Yeah, about that. My goodness, Carson gets what, 31? Is it 31 carries? 30, was that what it was?
2, I think. Like 2 catches.
Okay, so
somewhere Tim Turner is smiling. Huge.
Yes. Carson over D Hop. Okay, let the brand be known. So Carson, I don't know. He's getting the touches, but is he playing better than Penny in y'all's opinion, or what?
Well, he's playing more than Penny by and large. Yeah. So I mean, 32 for
apparently that's all that matters.
Volume rules the day. We were talking about this on the 40 that it was, was it that, awe-inspiring to average whatever he did, like 3.5 yards a carry against that vaunted Cowboys defense. It's nice to see the volume, but this dude was covering punts in the second half of week 2. So I'm not feeling all happy about, that Carson's taking this job. I mean, it could be Penny getting 30 carries next week.
Carson might take Dixon's job.
It's entirely possible. I mean, they should give that guy a shot wherever he wants. Pete Carroll loves him. Now he's going to be the safety when they trade Earl Thomas.
Keeping in that division a little bit, that division does not seem very good. Not from years past, I guess. The Niners possibly had a run there, but I don't know without Garoppolo, without San Francisco Suave himself, and the Cardinals not good. The Rams 16-0 type of team. I mean, is it the Rams against everybody or what?
I think, just being kind of a Seahawks homer, they tend to start slow, and they're going to, they started 2 games on the road before they came back and beat the shitty Dallas team at home. So, they're going to have, 7 more home games in the next, my math is terrible, 13 games. So they got, a lot of home games where they've played well, even when they've been a bad team. So I'm not panicking. Are they going to finish ahead of the Rams? I doubt it, but they have a chance to squeeze in a wild card spot.
Nothing's better than watching John DeBari do math. It's like the scene in The Hangover where what's his name's counting cards. It's unbelievable watching him.
The world stops. Numbers come up off the page.
It's glorious.
At least I can hear him working through it. I can panic because this is live. If I fuck it up, everyone's going to see it. It sounds like our show. You just edit it out.
No, listen, the only thing that's edited out of our show is the shit Andrew says is wrong. But how is Seattle only given 3 points against those Arizona Cardinals this week? That is a light number for your Seahawks.
Rosen effect? Question mark.
The fear of the unknown.
That's all I got.
Is that what we're doing here? Yeah. With Bradford, it'd be about 10 or 12 probably. So
I felt like somebody was talking about this the other day. When it comes to it might have been on a podcast I was listening to earlier today. If you're taking the St. Louis, the LA Rams win total for this year, and you stack up the win totals of every other team in the NFC West, who has more wins by season's end? I'm thinking you could probably see the Rams doing something like 13-3. Like that's feasible, right?
Oh yeah, that team is good.
Yeah,
I don't venture too far off the Vegas season win total heading into the year. So I think they were 9.5. They weren't 10. So, and they already got banged up. Both their corners, how long they're going to be out. What did we say? Peters is week to week, and Talib. Right. What's Talib at now? Day to day? I just woke up.
High ankle sprain for Talib. So yeah, I'd imagine a week or two for him, and then Peters, the strained calf, will be similar, I guess. But yeah, I mean,
no, one of them just had surgery.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I think Talib. It was Peters.
No, Talib had.
Talib did? Okay.
Surgery
for
scheduled to have surgery. Yes, the surgery on Thursday.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, Yeah, their linebackers were already banged up. Now their corners are both down. Sprinkle in an injury on the D line, that team is actually starting to have trouble on the defensive side of the ball.
But then you're not so worried because the offense is just going to be fine anyways. You'd think, 30, they're averaging more than they did last year, and that was already the highest scoring team in the league. So
yeah, you could just morph into the Kansas City Chiefs, where defense is optional. It's just we're just gonna bang 30 on you every week, and or more if you can keep up, so be it. And the Rams can do the same thing.
Can we stay up? Can we stay with that for a second when we're talking about the Rams and just their receiving core for a second? If we're just talking about the top 3 receivers, can you guys tell me who you'd rather have out of these 3 teams trios? Would you rather have the Rams trio, that's Woods, Cooks, and Kupp, the Lions trio, Tate, Golladay, and Marvin Jones, or the Chiefs trio, Kelsey, Tyreek, Sammy?
I already know where John's going, so you want to dive in there, John?
Give me Kenny Golladay by himself.
Talk about brand. That's a great question. I'm a Sammy truther, so I'm probably going to take that KC trifecta. Because a little more dynamic. I'm not enamored with the Rams, so it'd be between Detroit and KC for me. So I just like the different skill sets of those KC guys.
What do you think, Gabe?
I'm trying to run them through my head right now because it's a really, really good question. I mean, just the offense with Reed and McVay, like you've watched the Chiefs the past few weeks, like obviously they're going to score points. And so what'd you say? Watkins, Hill, and Kelsey?
We'll say Kelsey. Yep. Throw them in there.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I still kind of side with the Rams a little bit, honestly. That offense just seems to work no matter what. And Kupp is really, really playing well from the slot, kind of surprising a lot of people, I think, still. Cooks is seriously so underrated for how he stretches the field. It is absolutely insane. Sammy run and go routes in Los Angeles is like so much worse than Brandon Cooks running go routes in Los Angeles. It's nuts. And then and Woods is doing his thing too. So I don't know. It's tough. I know that those 3 are the top 3. I think we can all agree on that.
I just think what's interesting when you look at all those groups, like legitimately, and excluding Kelsey since he's the tight end, but out of those 8 guys, that's 3 teams that may hold, all of them holding top 30 receivers. Like that's bonkers to me.
8 of them.
I still don't believe in Robert Woods.
Oh, come on, JDB.
Or Marvin Jones, if you want to keep. I mean,
look, well, let's stay on Woods for a second. What does he have to do to prove to you that he can keep it up? Because right now, with 3 weeks in the books, in full point PPR, he's wide receiver 14.
I mean, how many? So he's been in the league how many years? And he's had what, last year and potentially this year?
Listen, you can't blame anyone for anything that ever happened to him in Buffalo. That should just be like a new rule of fantasy. There's in the Buffalo years.
Yeah, remember, excluded. Like you just said, remember, and Heath Cummings had the tweet, and I will forever remember it. On the same team, Sammy Watkins, Robert Woods, Marquise Goodwin, and Chris Hogan, all on the same team in Buffalo.
Couldn't do shit with him.
Couldn't do anything with him.
Can't win with him.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
There he is.
I want winners. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm curious what Woods has to do to win you over.
Well, he probably has to have 10 more 10 catch, 104-yard, 2 touchdown games. Because even I didn't realize he was wide receiver 14. Obviously, it was buoyed on that huge week he just had last week.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I like Woods. I don't love Woods. I'm not drafting him anywhere. I don't own him anywhere. He's not sexy enough for me. I mean, Cooks and Kupp are intriguing. You know, I agree with John. I'm not a Marvin Jones guy either, but it's pretty much like one guy in each group I really like. And I'm a Sammy guy, I'm a Golladay guy, and I really like Kupp, to be totally honest with you. But you're right. I mean, as far as triplets go, they're probably the top three. I don't know why the Steelers came to mind of seeing what James Washington could be maybe a year from now, and Antonio Brown, Juju, and James Washington could be pretty scary trio as well, but they're not this year.
I think we need to sub out James Washington and sub in Vance McDonald with his Hadouken stiff arm last night.
God, ended NFL careers.
I wonder what that was like today when he showed up for practice. Like, did anybody mention anything, or did he kind of walk in the room? Everybody just put their head down and looked away.
John, he's on IR. He didn't show up for practice today. He did. He got put on IR.
Are you serious?
100%. Yeah.
Holy shit!
Literally stiff-armed directly to a gurney.
Yeah. He's got to go to psychological counseling 3 times a week.
Knocked him out of football with that.
Yeah.
That's so awful. Oh man.
They asked Vance McDonald what he was thinking, and I think he said, "I wanted to crush him."
Yeah,
that was his reply. To crush him. That's what I wanted to do. I was like, well, you did it.
Yeah, I wasn't a Vance McDonald fan going into the weekend, but I sure came out of it McDonald fan.
How could you not?
Yeah. Well, plus that fucking reply, I saw that too. I was like, crush him. Look at this guy.
That's what you do. DNs can't hit quarterbacks, but tight ends can crush safeties if they so desire. The new NFL.
What a time to be alive.
Can ruin anyone's career except the quarterbacks. That Dolphin guy blew his knee out trying not to land on whoever the hell he sacked. I can't remember.
On Carr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to land a little sideways and blows his knee out. That's fine. Yep. Don't hit Derek Carr don't hit him in his tum-tum. No hitting in the stomach. Can't hit him in the knee. Don't hit him in the head.
And you can't be Clay Matthews.
Gruden's probably on the sideline. No, drop your weight on him.
Yeah.
Drop your weight on him. I want to see what this AJ McCarron kid has.
Screw the 15 yards. We want to see the backup.
Yeah. Penalty declined.
Declining it.
I want to stay on receivers for a minute because I find this list fascinating right now. Do you guys know who currently is the wide receiver 1 in fantasy?
I just looked at it this morning, actually, and I totally forgot.
Oh,
again, I'm looking at full point PPR.
Yeah, it's got to be Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas right now, 91.8 points through 3 weeks, which is absurd. He's averaging 30 points a game.
He's caught 38 of 40 targets. Dude's on like an epic pace right now.
Yes.
Dude's bonkers.
Currently, another one of those teams that have 3 top 30 wide receivers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Fitzmagic. Obviously 3 weeks are in the books, which means that Jameis is set to come back. I don't know that I've heard you guys, even on your pod, do a ton of talking about what you guys think in terms of the Jameis effect now that he's on his way back. Can we dive into that a little bit? Do we still buy the Buccaneers at all with Jameis coming back? And do you guys actually think Jameis plays? Because they still have to make a decision on him, just like the Titans do about Mariota. 5th-year option coming up. Are we picking it up? What are we doing? That type of deal.
I'm Mr. Negative on everything, so I look at it from
That's true.
what's like the worst possible outcome. And I think I've said it on our show a little bit. They're gonna keep Fitzpatrick in. He's gonna look good for these 3 games, good enough that they have to keep him as the starter. And then he's gonna do what he always does, which is look good for 3 games, keep a job, then come out and look shitty. And they're gonna end up going 1-2 in their next 3 games, and they're gonna be sitting at 3-3 after 6 games when they put Winston in, and they're gonna be out of the playoff picture.
That might have been verbatim what John said on our podcast because we started, again, talking too much about numbers. Probably for so good. But I think Fitzpatrick was more week 3 than he was weeks 1 and 2, but I don't think that's groundbreaking for anyone. Dude still throws for 403 in the game, but just, a little too unreliable, a little too gunslinger. And at the end of the day, everything I hear and read about Winston is that he's been dialed in this off season, and he's been running laps around Fitzpatrick during the OTAs in the preseason, and he's been running 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s at a high school around the corner on Saturdays because he's that committed. And the dude was in the house at 4:30 this morning for the Bucks the first day he was allowed back in the building. You can't say that Fitzpatrick is the answer for them long term. I mean, the dude's what, a 12-year journeyman. It's been on 7 different teams. He's an awesome backup. It was nice that they had him for 3 games, that they can get 2-1 during the suspension. But this is Jameis's team, and whether it's not this week, but he'll definitely be coming out of the bye. That's my honest opinion. I could see them giving Fitzpatrick 1 more week on the short week. They get the bye in week 5, coming out week 6. Back to Jameis, as it should be. You have to evaluate him, so get him on the field and see if he really has learned and matured and see what he can do with this team the rest of the season. That's what I'm doing.
You sound like you think Dirk Cutter is competent.
I would never say such a thing. That would ruin all my credibility.
Could be the underrated issue there for sure.
What's the worst decision they could make? That's what they're going to go with.
Well, no, it's him taking play calling duties back would be the worst decision they could make.
Wow,
fact. That's a fact.
That's true.
Hey, J Mike, real quick, because
You're
you're talking about the top 30 wide receivers. So there are 3 teams. So there are the Lions, the Rams, and the Bucks. They all have 3 top 30 wide receivers.
I know that the Rams do. I know that the Bucks do.
The Lions have to.
The Lions.
Yeah.
No, Marvin Jones is currently 37.
Okay.
So Marvin Jones is moving up his end of the bargain.
Just
Outside
a little
looking in.
outside.
Yeah.
But the only reason I say that is because I was kind of looking at this stuff not too long ago and about if there have been 3 top 24 wide receivers, and there have been, but it's with Peyton Manning twice.
I was going to say the 52 touchdown year, probably one of them.
And then the Broncos. So like the Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, and then who else would have been, like Stokely or something?
Probably.
And then Sanders, Thomas, and Decker. But anyways, I mean,
Sanders was at Welker. I think it was before Sanders. It was probably Wes Welker.
Yeah, I guess that could be right too. But I mean, my point is Peyton Manning's done it, and that's the end of the list. So are we gonna put Goff and Stafford and Fitzpatrick, or even the combination of Fitzpatrick and Winston, whatever? Like, I don't know. I think what I'm alluding to is that I think y'all 40 boys are right, that there could be 2, completely realistic, but I think you might have to pick that 2 or 1 or 2 kind of guy. If Cooks is out, sure, but or if Marvin Jones is out, sure, but I don't think that 3 is realistic. So kind of interesting.
I agree with you. The only offense I think I trust to be able to support is McVay's offense with the Rams. I mean, honestly, the rest of them, I know they throw a lot, and maybe John's going to come out. Detroit's going to throw 600 times again this year, and it's entirely possible. But I feel like Galladay's ascension is what's going to cause Marvin Jones to continue to fall in the abyss. And who knows with KC? I mean, Mahomes looks the part right now, but he's still not completing a ton of passes. It's a little, a little unique how they're pulling that off right now. But if I'm going to trust anyone, and listen, I don't not trust Andy Reid. I was tied to him for a number of years as an Eagles fan, but it seems like McVay just finds ways to yards and points. Yeah. And it doesn't matter who they're playing against.
Yep.
I think we're seeing this year in particular, I think we're seeing the game change a little bit, whether it's through penalties or just play calling. I mean, what is there now? I know last week it was a bunch, but it's 2 games, small sample size. But even this week, I think something like 5 guys are on pace to eclipse the season total reception records, and there's still 3 running backs or 5 running backs are on pace to break the all-time running back receptions.
Oh my!
Scoring is up through 3 weeks, something like 8 points a game, which is pretty significant. So, just the way that they're flagging pass interference and all the hits on the quarterback, I mean, it's worth offensive taking big shots downfield, because you're either going to draw the PI or someone's going to hit your quarterback late, or hit him low, hit him high, hit him anywhere except in the stomach and not land on him, and you're drawing a flag. So the way they changed the rules heading into this year, plus I think a lot of people seeing, what New Orleans did last year with Kamara and Ingram. Teams are throwing more to the running back. They're throwing more in general, and they're scoring more points, whether it's through offensive scheme or they're letting the penalties help them out. It's working. So I think a lot of those kind of outlier offensive records, like we're talking with that Manning year, supporting 3, top 24 wide receivers, top 30. I think we're going to see that stuff a lot more than we have in years past.
Yeah, I think you're right. The penalties for sure. I mean, what's the touchdown pace so far? Like it was already way above what it was a few years back, and they still hadn't played like the afternoon games or something. I don't know, but it was just nuts.
Yeah, I know it's 8. I know games are averaging 8 points more, which is significant, especially if you're a gambler. I mean, shit. Over under at 44, and you take it over every week, you'll probably win till they start adjusting in like week 7.
Not sure if you guys noticed this. There are 2 guys tied, and this kind of plays right into your point, JDB. 2 guys. Well, excuse me. Through 3 weeks, there are only 8 players in the entire NFL who have rushed for over 200 yards. 8 players. One of those 8 players is tied for the lead with one Ezekiel Elliott. His name's Matt Breida.
He's still tied for the lead after missing time this week?
Still tied for the lead.
Wow. I didn't know that.
He still had a decent week.
So he's sitting at 274, he and Zeke, for the year. He's only done it on, and the other thing is he's only done it on 32 attempts. So he's right now, which is absurd, and it won't stay this way, but he's averaging 8.6 yards a carry, which is just bonkers. But I think that plays a lot into your point with that we're not seeing this rushing volume or production that I think we're accustomed to from our big name guys, because when we look at the top of this leaderboard in terms of running backs for the season so far, the target numbers are outstanding. Alvin Kamara, 38 targets. Todd Gurley's at 14 targets, which sounds like 14, like this is terrible. Like you think that, but like 14 targets in 3 games for a running back, pretty good. 24 targets for Melvin Gordon, 27 targets for Saquon, 26 for McCaffrey. Like these, like you said, everything's happening in the air right now.
And I think McCaffrey got 0 this week. Didn't he get no targets?
Yeah, he should have got none. Whether he did or not, that's at least getting me back to a point where I'm not feeling like I'm taking shots to the face every time with he's going to catch less than 80 balls this year thing. But you were talking about Matt Breida. He has the same amount of carries on the year as Chris Carson had last week. So that's very telling. But that's going to come to a crashing halt with Garoppolo out of there. So if you're in redraft, you probably want to burn your Breida shares. But it's a crazy time with receivers where value is in the pass catchers, and the NFL is coming to the realization that it's easier to pass for yards and it's more productive, to throw the ball than it is to run the ball. So unless you have these bell cow guys anymore, you need guys that are going to catch it.
Well, I was reading that Beathard throws more to the running back than like anyone ever on the planet. So, I mean, maybe Breida is alive and the dump off game is just strong and with whatever injuries happening, but, I think that was from Scott Barrett. He was talking about Beathard throwing a lot of his passes to the running back. So maybe he's still alive. Yeah,
it's probably a lot of Carlos Hyde last year, but you got to assume he's going to be thrown at the Kittle every chance he gets.
Shanahan offense, the running backs live. So we'll see.
Yeah, I just don't want any part of that 49ers offense at this point.
I don't think so either. Yeah, it's fair.
you don't even, not even Kittle?
I mean, Kittle, because tight end is a fucking wasteland, at this point in time. That I'll go back to the Hawkeye connection and see what can happen with him. Sure.
I got too much Breida. I got to ride this train into the fucking dirt because I got tons of them. So
Breida heavy.
Fingers crossed he stays healthy and gets a lot of that work in the passing game because I got no choice riding that boat right into the bottom of the ocean.
Listen, you can still say you won already, John. So that's good. You know, you took a nobody and you rode him to prominence. So you're already succeeded, my friend.
I think the good news probably is you didn't take him as your like wide receiver. I mean, you're running back 2, right? Like you took him probably as running back 4 or 5 or something.
I mean, I had him and Austin Eckler super high, and so far I feel smart patting myself on the back. But obviously losing Garoppolo is a huge hit to him, and I can't believe Melvin Gordon still gets that workload because he sucks.
Ooh.
So we're 40 minutes into this pod, and John has already went off on how much he loves Galladay, how he was right about Breda and Eckler, and how much he hates Melvin Gordon. John's done.
Trifecta. I gotta go.
You can release him now. He's touched all his points.
You are in your bag right now. Yeah, I can't take your Melvin Gordon slander, so we're gonna have to change the subject.
Yeah, I used to hate him until I got him in the Scott Fishbowl, and then I tried to convince everyone on the pod that he wasn't as bad as we thought he was.
What's that saloon door sound you just did? Can we have that walking out? Thank you. They gone. No,
it's a one-way door. We're in.
I mean, Melvin Gordon or Chris Carson, JDB.
Ooh.
Let's test this hatred.
Well, I mean,
hit me where it hurts.
In the same offense, like everything else being equal, as it stands, you'll twist my arm and talk me into Melvin Gordon.
Listen to all these qualifiers you're putting in.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time getting me just to say Melvin Gordon.
In a vacuum, but there are some caveats.
Yeah, it's gotta be like Melvin Gordon or Chris Henry, and I'm gonna go Melvin Gordon.
Oh goodness gracious! In a Melvin Gordon only league, where I have to draft Melvin Gordon. You tell me I have to take Melvin Gordon. All right, I'll take Melvin Gordon.
I'm gonna see what I can find on the wire.
Yeah, there's got to be another Melvin out there.
Ray Caruth.
Oh, come on! Sadness.
Dark place right now.
Sadness. Speaking of sadness, a place that's not very sad right now, Cleveland stand up. Finally win. Baker Mayfield comes out. JDB shaking his head. He's upset that Carlos Hyde's been so productive. And at this point, I think our dreams and hopes of Nick Chubb riding in to save the day have subsided. But Baker Mayfield's on the field. And I think it seems like that's going to open things up for the rest of the playmakers in the offense. What say ye?
Did JDB send you the show notes for this open bar?
No, Cleveland just happens to be basically a weekly requirement that we at least spend 5 minutes on them because that's basically what we do.
We were the first to hype the Cleveland Browns, pretty sure.
John's a huge Baker enthusiast as well. This was the one thing we hadn't circled the wagons on yet, but I'm glad we went to Hyde first. And I think before last week, Hyde didn't impress me very much at all. And then we hear he's about to have a baby, and he comes out and just trounces the Jets for 102 on Thursday Night Football, and looks like a world beater. So yeah, there's not going to be any Chubb this year. No one's getting Chubb this year. I hate to break it to you folks. they're going to ride Hyde.
Barring injury, but yeah, for sure.
And then likely a Chubb backfield next year. I think that the issue is Duke Johnson. That kid's been on a milk carton all year. It's like, why'd you pay him? Turn him free. Let him loose.
That's the question. Why did you? Why you didn't even have? You didn't have to. Why did you pay him if this is what you're gonna do?
Right?
You didn't have to. You're absolutely right.
You chose to pay the man.
Well, and the talk coming in too was with Todd Haley coming in and how much they passed to the back. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh, how much they passed to him. It was like, oh, great. Well, they have a system in place where they've used the running back in the passing game before, and you're like, shit, Duke Johnson looked great in the passing game, and now nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this offense has to evolve under Baker. I think they were extremely pedestrian with Tyrod, and it was a lot of run when they know we're running. Run after we tell them we're running, run it when we shouldn't be running, and hope that we can eke out some wins. And then you see Baker get the nod in the second half, and it was let's throw this ball downfield, let's spread it around, and let's move it. So maybe you see more Duke going forward, because maybe it just wasn't a product of how they were scheming Tyrod.
But hey, I mean, regardless of Haley scheming to throw to the running back, he's just using a running back a lot. For if he can use him for 100% of the touches, he will. Whether he's passing to the running back or just running up the middle. I mean, I don't. I guess I don't know what Duke's snap share looks like, but with like 6-7 targets over 3 games, it can't be insane.
It's just so bizarre because he had such a good year last year, and like we already said, with the contract too, so you're like, everything's shaping up for this to be a decent year for Duke. And granted it's 3 games, a lot of shit can change, but yeah, disappeared. I'm shocked.
Yeah, mine was still the contract, because I think we talked about on our pod that last year I think was a product of necessity. I mean, you didn't have Jarvis Landry there last year. You didn't have Antonio Callaway. Josh Gordon was hit or miss. It was rookie David Njoku. You were relying on also Rans in Cleveland last year. So, Duke Johnson was probably their best receiver in 9 out of 10 games last year. So that guy's getting 80 catches.
38% of the snaps this last week. 58 for
know
Howard.
And
39?
Yeah.
39% last week?
Yeah, 38.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
It seems like a lot. So I mean, it might be just to the fact that you're talking about their walk, that they just have other options to throw to that are better. Landry's great. Joke fine too, and Callaway. So I mean, I think it's okay. It's better than last year by a while. A while of a mile.
No, 100%. The Landry's great thing. That just makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. I'm still not ready to be there quite yet, but maybe he's just
the next Antonio Brown to you.
No, he's not.
I keep trying to swing on that one.
Listen, I was the product of volume guy in Miami, and he's proved me slightly wrong thus far. He's going downfield more. He's got great hands. I just don't know. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 personally, but he can volume his way into it. And with Baker there, it's clear Baker was looking for him every chance he got. So I'm going to be wrong the rest of this year when Baker Mayfield just targets this dude a dozen times a game, and he ends up with like his 8 for 80s and sprinkle a touchdown in here and there. So
he hasn't scored a touchdown yet. I mean, there's a lot of wide receivers down lower that you're just like, damn, why are they so low? And then you look at their last 3 games, they just haven't scored a touchdown. So, that happens. Julio doesn't do that. He scores
you got to look at
3 all year, but some are more prone to catching touchdowns than others. But you'd imagine Landry would get his. Odell is going to score some touchdowns. I mean, so. Yeah, he's not a wide receiver 1 now, but if he keeps the pace of at least last week, or even his first 2 weeks weren't bad either, and then just scores some touchdowns, like I think he regresses in the right direction.
Couldn't agree. I agree.
For sure. What did you guys think of we didn't talk about this we talked about Baker a little bit, but what do you guys think of Njoku now with Mayfield in there? Seemed like he got a few more targets after he came in the game, and another guy got a bunch of shares of them. Like, okay, hopefully this starts a trend in the right direction, because he targeted Mark Andrews a lot in college, so hopefully it's more of a product of him being comfortable with tight ends than it was Mark Andrews being Mark Andrews in college.
I think one has to hope that Njoku just looks better catching the ball, because I've actually watched all the Browns games to this point, and although Tyrod wasn't necessarily good per se, like Njoku had shots and he's had some drops and he hasn't looked great. So will his volume go up? I don't know.
Listen, Chief David needs some more shirtless jug time. That's obvious.
I don't know, but I mean, he's as good of a dart throw at tight end as anybody, I'd imagine, right?
Well, that's true too. I mean, it's so down and shitty outside of like the big 3. I guess anybody has a chance squeezing in between 4 and 12 to end the year. So,
I mean,
I think he has
just
both
going to
his
throw the
catches.
ball more. Tyrod just he uses his legs a lot, and I think the attempts per game have to go up by anywhere from 5 to 10 a game with Baker in there. So I mean, in that regard, there's got to be more targets for him.
So this week, Browns going into Oakland. Oakland's a 3-point favorite at home, which they should not be laying. Yeah.
Wow.
They're
who you taking?
Wow.
Lock it. Pop, lock, and drop it, Browns Nation. Believeland.
I agree. You know, I'm not trusting anything Gruden or Carr related right now. They just find ways. We talked about on our pod about how they were displaying the poor tackling form against those Miami Dolphins last week, about how to let people score 50-yard touchdowns that don't deserve it. So, you know, expect a few of those from the Cleveland Browns this week. The Oakland Raiders are dumpster fire.
Yeah, that's a lot of respect for essentially John Gruden to give a 3 points, I guess. I don't know, but and oh my God, I have been such a supporter of Amari like for so long, and I'm just I'm very very close to like I sent a trade. It's a redraft league, but I mean I snap traded like Cooper and a running back like a Jamal Williams or an Aaron Jones or something for Galladay.
And Jamal Williams isn't a running back, but we move on.
Lower. Sure. Whatever. But I mean, thinking about where those guys, and it doesn't matter in redraft anymore where they were drafted, but you know, Cooper being a 3rd round guy, Galladay way in like the 10th or whatever. I mean, like, and they've completely switched. Like, you know, Galladay's that 3rd round guy now. And so I don't know. I'm ready to, I just own him in so many places. It's so annoying. I'm ready to cut ties like a little bit at least. I'm done with the pain. I don't even care if I'm wrong anymore. I just want
stop hitting me.
As a
I'm sorry.
Charter member.
Whatever I did wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can we go back to David Njoku real quick? I just looked up some numbers and I found this super interesting. On the season, again, 3 games in, he's got 16 targets, 9 receptions. How many red zone targets do you think he has?
0.
Weird.
0. So if nothing else, JDB, you'd like to think that Baker's going to be able to at least look for him in close. Because he looked pretty spectacular in preseason, right? And everyone got excited. And, oh, look at the catch. Look what he did. Oh, my goodness, in the end zone. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my 0 was predicated on the fact that Cleveland wasn't visiting that red zone too frequently before the second half of the Jets game. So it was just an educated guess, one I felt pretty confident about.
What's funny though is that they've been in every game. That's the funniest part, right? So
like I said, they'd be 2-1, possibly 3-0 if Baker started from week 1 like he should have. They left a lot of opportunity on the field.
They're if I'm not mistaken, they're the oldest team in the NFL. And I may have sent a tweet out. I know Raiders fans, I know I've been busting their balls about it. That's what happens. You have a bunch of guys that are fucking 37 and they start fading in the 4th quarter of every game because they're 37.
And I resemble that comment.
I still remember that Monday night game. That Monday night game, they have those cute little visuals, and they showed the Raiders team of them being the oldest average team or averaging the oldest age in the league, and they had Jordy Nelson. They showed like the Raiders on a pirate ship doing that kind of visual, and they literally put Jordy Nelson with a peg leg, like just the shade, man. Like
they should have gave him 2. Both legs should have been fucking
gave him a walker.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Low key shade too. Like,
yeah, right.
I want to go back to Gabe talking about Amari Cooper, and nothing pleases me more to see the Cooper lovers start falling off the bandwagon. Now it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught the end of that where he said it was for Galladay, and I thought for sure you were just gonna come out with you make that trade straight up.
Yeah. That was a double down for you, JDB.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see the Amari Cooper bandwagon blow a tire.
And I just want Gruden to come out again and throw Derek Carr under the bus and say, we need to target Amari Cooper more so you can get that recorrection game. And then that's when you trade him after he gets the 10 targets again this coming week against Cleveland.
He's going to have another. I mean, he does it every year. He's going to have one of those 200 yards, 2 touchdown games, and everyone's going to be like, he's finally good. He's breaking out. It's happening. Then that's when you fucking trade him.
Yeah, it's fantasy hot potato in Oakland. I told John it was Jared Cook week 1, it was Amari Cooper week 2, Jordy Nelson week 3. They just draw names out of a hat. You know, it's going to be Martavis Bryant or Doug Martin this week.
Jalen Richard this week.
There you go.
Remember those times Jordy Nelson would run downfield, catching all those passes from Aaron Rodgers and not get caught from behind? Yesterday.
Oh my God.
So slow.
And people still keep counting his game speed, like that he hasn't slowed down. I'm like, well, then is it the quarterback? Is that what we're talking about?
Oh my God.
Because my man's getting hawked, and I don't ever remember seeing that. But I don't know. I thought that was funny. Gabe, there's definitely 2 more things I want to make sure we get in before we kick rocks. I'm gonna throw out a pair of teammates. You tell me which one you'd rather have on your dynasty team, or no, on your fantasy team. Period. We'll just talk rest of season. Okay. James Conner or Le'Veon Bell?
Oh, which one rest of season?
Yes, rest of season. Which one would you rather have?
That question seems so easy after week 1.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Now Stephen Ridley's getting carries.
I'm just curious. I'm gonna throw these out to you. You just tell me who you think.
I'm gonna hope and pray Le'Veon gets traded, and I'm still gonna roll with him. I'm not a Connor guy. I said it on my pod every chance I get. It's just congratulations to Dude Beat Cancer. He's got probably the best story in the NFL right now. But I didn't see a special running back before, and I still don't see one now. He had one half of good football so far.
Okay, JDB.
The thing with Bell is who is going to trade for him, because that's prorated. So they're going to pay him $12 million a game, assuming he signs. And if he wants to sit out 10 weeks to stay healthy, he's not coming back for any other team, because under the franchise tag, he can't sign a long-term contract to the end of the year anyway. So what are the Steelers?
You can give more money. I don't quote me on the semantics of it, but I did hear the Steelers even could do it. You can give more than the franchise tag. So maybe a team's willing to give him more cash than whatever, 14 or whatever million for the year. But you're right, they can't give him a new contract. So he'd have to, I'm sure, agree to something before a trade, because no team's going to trade for him hoping that he likes them better than the Steelers at this point.
I mean, yeah, maybe someone. I mean, Steelers aren't going to trade him for, we'll just say a 6th. They're not going to trade him for a 6 just to get him out of their hair, because they could still get him starting week 10.
I mean, can't they get compensatory picks for him too? If he doesn't resign, or no? How's it? I don't know how that works.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's just a weird spot. So even if a team does trade for him, whereas in other sports where you could trade for a guy and agree to sign him to a long-term deal and all that shit, they can't even do that. So what are you going to give up for that? And you don't even know he's going to show up. So, whoever at Tampa Bay is interested. Tampa Bay trades for him because Ronald Jones is trash. Tampa Bay trades for him, and what are they going to do? Please come in. And he says, screw you guys too. I'll see you in week 10. Thanks for making the move for me, but sit tight. So, I mean, you have to take Connor just because he's actually on the field.
Maybe it goes to a team that's not even actually competitive, and they're like okay with that. They're okay with him sitting out because they don't hopefully need him till next year, and he's losing money anyways, so it doesn't exactly matter. So my question is also, if he goes to a team, receives that, is he still tagged under that other team? Because I literally do not know that.
The only contract he can have this year is the franchise tag,
and that can be
unless the Steelers rescind it. I'm sure
they can't. Once they pass that date, whatever that was,
after like week 2 or something,
like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, where they said if he doesn't show up by Saturday, whatever. The only thing he can sign is the franchise tender. He has no choice. The Steelers can't give him a new contract. They can't pull the franchise tag. He has to either play under the franchise tag or sit at home like he's doing now.
So if he's traded,
definitely not sitting at home.
Is he franchise tagged under the Jets?
Correct.
Well, what if they already franchise tag someone? It's probably getting way too deep for the open bar right now.
Open bar.
I got my brain working. I got a lawyer in this bar.
The glove don't fit. You must quit. So
listen, before we pivot, just because I had to notice, PFT Steelers can rescind franchise tender, get compensatory pick for Le'Veon, so you can take it off the table because he hasn't signed it. So
so they could just trade him for picks,
and you can trade him for picks, and then he can sign a new contract with the other team.
Okay.
And I think that's what he wants to do.
And that's probably what would happen. Some sort of picks and players.
But they're not going to give him what he wants at this point.
Well, if the alternative is nothing, then why not try and get some picks out of a deal? Right. Get the headache out of your locker room. Yeah, I know they're not quote unquote not talking about it, but it's still lingering. The team's 1-1-1. It probably is 3-0 if they have Le'Veon Bell in that offense. Through 3 weeks. So
I don't know. There seem to be a lot of other problems there. Antonio Brown and Big Ben don't seem to be on the same page. Brown's pissed off, sitting out practices, not showing up. That team's got some
issues.
Something going on there.
Yeah. Seems from the source too with Tomlin. It is kind of what it seems like to me. Some leadership or disciplinary kind of issues of sorts.
Something's afoot.
I got two more back there. Two more back there I definitely want to get to. Don't say it, Gabe.
Just when you said that, something's afoot. Have any of you listened to the new Eminem Kamikaze album?
I heard one track. Haven't heard the album.
There's anyone listening, go Google There's Something Afoot, Eminem Kamikaze. Have a little giggle. It's Eminem just being ridiculous, overplayed Eminem, 40-year-old Eminem, but inappropriate even for the open bar. So carry on, J Mike.
Next backfield. Would you rather have for the rest of the season? You can just throw out a name or context if you want. Chris Thompson, Adrian Peterson.
I'm going to go Peterson. He's looked good. I think, Walker, you said it when we recorded last time. He's just going to be a product of volume. When they're ahead and they can run the ball, he's going to get it. When they're trailing, Thompson's going to be in there. But, look, Thompson's never stayed healthy going back to college. So give me the guy with the lesser injury risk.
It also helps to have Peterson, a guy like Peterson, to have that volume to spell Chris Thompson, because he's going to just work well with what he's given and not playing so many snaps to where he has that, high volatility rate. Sure. But I don't know. I think it certainly helps Thompson to have a guy like Peterson there. So
Adrian Peterson has turned into everything I thought Samaje Perine would be.
It's another boat you need to let sail. I'm going to go with Chris Thompson just not to agree with John because it happens too frequently on our podcast. And Adrian Peterson, the game script dependent. And I just saw out of their bye they're playing against the Saints. And that's not going to be an Adrian Peterson game. That's going to be a Chris Thompson game. Week after that, they're against the Panthers. That's hit or miss. And they get 2 division games, so who knows about that. But he's just as likely to get hurt, too. I mean, Chris Thompson, I know, will get hurt. But I'm going to hope that he gets all those catches in the interim. And, is that PPR back that we were just talking about? That's the new NFL. I'd rather have a guy that catches 8 balls than gets 18 carries.
What do you think, Gabe?
I like Thompson. I'm just weirded out by the Adrian Peterson thing.
Yeah.
I'm ready to just.
I think everyone is.
Yeah, I'm just ready to die on that hill of being wrong. I'm totally okay with that, but I'd rather have Thompson.
I just find it interesting, like you just said, Chris Thompson can never stay healthy, and Adrian Peterson, they didn't find out till the next day, but Adrian Peterson sprained an ankle against Green Bay, and obviously they have the bye week coming up. this week, but a couple of guys who, in Adrian's advanced age and Chris Thompson's just Funyun body, I'm curious as to how that all
onion rang.
I sent a tweet out just going back to that Washington Green Bay game. The Packers got so lucky that the Bills kicked the shit out of Minnesota and Tiger Woods won that day, because everyone should be talking about how shitty the Packers looked against fucking the Redskins. They had no business losing that game at all, and they got a free pass because that huge upset in Minnesota and stupid Tiger Woods. And Green Bay was like, holy shit, no one's talking about us. We sucked.
Quick, get on a bus.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Get back home. We embarrassed ourselves. And nobody noticed.
Listen, Randall Cobb, above all, is probably happy that all happened, because it's that man didn't do Green Bay any justice last week.
What did he have? 11 targets and 4 catches with like 2 drops and a fumble or something?
Sounds about right.
awful. So awful.
Yeah.
Last backfield, going down to the Dirty Birds. Tevin Coleman, Devonta Freeman.
Devonta Freeman. Not going to hesitate there. Tevin Coleman needs to be a 1B somewhere. I know he's produced last year when Devonta Freeman was hurt, and Devonta Freeman seems to be perpetually hurt now, but he's looked terrible the last 2 weeks to me. I mean, he got bailed out by a receiving touchdown last week and had one big run the week before. I don't think Tevin Coleman's as special as everyone else does, personally. And everyone's already talking about how he might be the free agent to go to Pittsburgh next year. I don't think that's the answer.
Oh, that's a tough one, because I start factoring the injuries, and Devonta Freeman's history of concussions really scares the shit out of me for a little guy who lowers his head every time he gets hit. So I will go Coleman by the slightest of margins, and I don't really love him. I like Freeman's skill set, but if we're talking dynasty, I'm probably buying Coleman more than Freeman, just because kind of the same thing as Jordan Reed. He's literally 2 more big hits away from drinking soup through a straw and not playing football anymore.
Yeah. Gabe, what say you?
Tevin Coleman.
This is a good one. Each one of us started with.
I thought for sure you were going to bring up Kenyon Drake or Frank Gore.
I was really upset about what they did to Kenyon Drake this last week, but no, I'm not.
He's disrespected, man.
Disrespect.
He sucks.
He's not that bad, though.
He's not that good.
I mean,
I sort of agree with you there, but I mean, like Kenyon Drake or Melvin Gordon, JDB.
No, Melvin Gordon. I hate Kenyon Drake. I dislike Melvin Gordon. I hate Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake had 5 rushes last week.
Yeah. I don't think he has 20 on the year. They're just not getting any work.
Golly.
Listen, this is the same dude that had to have a trade and an injury to be the starting running back in Miami last year. And I know he was good, but Gase didn't want him to be the guy. I mean, that was pretty obvious. It was out of absolute necessity. And then they're like, we're going to bring Gore here. And then we're going to draft Balaj, who John likes, who I hate. So, we can talk about that if you want. But there still was no commitment to him. We're bringing in a guy that we're going to give 10 to 12 carries to. We're going to draft this running back that we want to involve in the passing game. But there's still a role for you, Drake. Yeah, just stay strong.
But where was the commitment to Jay Ajayi, too? And I mean, like, he had that absolutely bonkers season. And also, I don't know. I guess my question is how did y'all feel after that season with Jay Ajayi? Were you high on him, low on him?
I wasn't that crazy on him. It was three games, pretty much 2 Buffalo 200-yard games. I mean, he looked pretty pedestrian outside of those.
Yeah.
In that season, and then clearly fell out of favor with Gase, which John will tell you it's not that hard to do with Gase. And then since Ajayi's come to Philly, and he hasn't been anything special here. I mean, you go back, but from a fantasy perspective, I'm not in a rush to go get him anywhere.
Yeah, Gase sucks.
I think that's the problem, really.
Yes. Gase built his career on the back of one good season with Jay Cutler and Peyton Manning taking his job as offensive coordinator, and somehow he became this amazing offensive mind. And as we've seen in Miami, that's not true. Andy's a fucking petty asshole.
King of South
This
Beach.
guy wore his hat backwards to film study. Fuck him. He's going to get 2 carries this week. You know, he got mad at Ajayi for some goofy shit. Remember they didn't let him get on the plane that one week? And, like, he's just an asshole. I'm sure Kenyon Drake did something stupid you know what I mean? He squirted a water boy with some water at practice. And Gase is like...
Didn't he do the same thing to Arian Foster the one year he was there? Didn't he, like, help
like
scratch the
the
first
3
week?
days Arian was there?
Yeah, left him at home. It's like, no, this is just an adult's trip. The kids are staying at home, Aaron.
Asshole. I hate Adam Gase.
Yep, and they're 3-0, and he's not going anywhere, John.
Nope, yep.
About this.
This start will preserve his career for another year.
Last thing I want to bring up with you guys, and Gabe, did you have anything you wanted to close with before I ask this question?
No. No, J Mike.
Okay. In Dynasty, I'm just going to run through a list of names. Just tell me the name, just for the sake of time. In Dynasty, Patrick Mahomes, Cam Newton.
Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm right in the hot hand. Give me Pat Mahomes.
Gabe.
Cam.
Like Cam, he's buoy about his rushing touchdowns. That could end any minute.
Okay. Mahomes, Kirk Cousins.
Mahomes.
I don't like Kirk Cousins. Mahomes.
Gabe, that's a thinking face.
It was a little bit of a thinker.
I was able to ride that out.
Yeah. I didn't think I wouldn't have been thinking about it 2 weeks ago, or maybe even 1 week ago, but I might say Mahomes there.
Okay. A few more names. Mahomes, Russell Wilson.
Russ.
Wilson.
Come on, Walt.
Russell Wilson hasn't ran yet this year. Is anyone else concerned by that?
Yes.
That if he doesn't do that, he's not keeping up with the 300-yard, 3 passing touchdown quarterbacks anymore. I mean, that's just not product. Oof. I like Russ better. If you're talking dynasty, I'm going with Mahomes still.
Mahomes, Deshaun Watson.
Mahomes. That was the easiest one, yeah, for me.
Okay.
I wasn't as big on Watson as everybody else coming into the year, so Mahomes.
Mahomes is having the same exact year, really, that Watson had. I mean,
true. I believe
that's what really bothers me about the Mahomes thing this year. Is just
I'm believing Andy Reid over Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's the shitty.
Just love what we see initially, and it has been great, and he's in really good company for what he started for this year. But once I saw Watson did the same exact thing. He went to the #1 overall dynasty QB, and Wentz was right behind him, and they were just 1 and 2, and it's like, and Wilson and Rodgers and Cam are all just sitting there at 3, 4, 5, or even further down. Like Cam got disrespected down towards like 8, 9, or 10. It's just like we build off of this recency bias so much, and it's just starting to get annoying to me. So that's why I was thinking so hard about Mahomes and Cousins, because Cousins is a top 5 QB. And
oh, really?
I don't know if with the fucking, maybe not anymore with the Bill. 1 week ago he was a top 5 QB. He's still 8. He's still
top 5 in Minnesota.
I didn't even have him in my top 12 this year.
Really, I think he's easily very, very safe for top 10, but top 5 is
John hates Cousins.
Certainly realistic.
I don't hate him. I'm just not as high on him as everybody else.
You hate him. You said Case Keenum's a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins.
Well, that's partially. I really
think
like
I'll never
Keenum.
forget.
I do like Keenum more than Cousins.
Oh my goodness!
I just think we need to chill a little bit on it.
But I think Walker kind of touched on it a little bit. I think the thing with Mahomes that's different than Watson is, and this is why I was really high on Kareem Hunt last year after the draft, was going into an Andy Reid offense who's coached the NFL for so long. You've got a pretty
proven
track record of guys that can produce call him a system quarterback, system running back, if you'd like. In Andy Reid's system, his quarterbacks have produced, his RB1 has produced and has gotten the volume. So I like Mahomes' skill set, middle of the pack. But I think that combined with being an Andy Reid system, I really like him. Watson with, Bill O'Brien, who looks over his head, that team looks like shit. To me, he gets a bump back. Now, if we knew, next year O'Brien gets fired and I can't think of who the next hot offensive name is going to be, but Sarkisian, somebody comes in to take over play calling in Houston. I could be talked into bumping Watson ahead of him possibly, but as it stands now, give me Mahomes with Andy Reid over Watson with Bill O'Brien.
Okay. Yeah. And that realistically is fair. And Andy Reid just continues to put out these top tier QBs. I mean, that's just so true. And he's not only that, he's adapting to the game, unlike these other old fools that just kind of keep doing the same shit. Like he is changing things and he's adapting things to, like, none of the quarterbacks that he's even had are like similar.
I mean, yeah, look what did Alex Smith quarterback for last
year? Andy Reid largely, I mean, just as an Eagles fan and dealing with Andy Reid, primarily mobile quarterbacks. They are largely similar. I mean, you're Donovan McNabb, your Michael Vick, your Alex Smith, and your Mahomes.
They're different, even runners.
Sure.
Also, like as far as like categorizing like running quarterbacks, they're even different there. But yeah, I agree 100%. With you in general. Yeah.
Yeah, big arm guys, by and large, and we didn't know that about Alex Smith until the end of his Kansas City career. Yeah. But Donovan could throw deep, Vic had a can, and Mahomes has one. So they have traits.
Very good. Last one I'll throw out just for kicks and giggles to see how excited you are. Carson Wentz, Pat Mahomes.
Carson Wentz. The buck stops there with Pat Mahomes.
But you're a Philly fan.
Exactly.
I have a tremendous bias on this one.
Is it a bias thing? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I was about to appreciate that take, but then
just for you guys, I waited till the end.
Appreciate that.
What are our Super Bowl shirts going to look like, J. Mike?
I don't know. I think they'll just say #Do Bowl.
Clothing's going to look different by that point.
That'll be it. I don't know. Maybe you guys will trade us your second best quarterback, Carson Wentz, and maybe he'll lead us to a title. I don't know.
Foles looked terrible, didn't he?
He looked real bad. Real bad. I don't know. We may get, as we're closing out, we may get a Berg sighting. He asked if we were still going. So, but anyway, Gabe, I am out of bullets and also out of beer. So
the worst feeling. Well, one last one for the Mahomes thing. Mahomes or Fitzpatrick? Fitz is leading him. Okay, Fitz is the #1 overall QB, guys.
Fitz magic.
If I knew he was going to wear Deshaun Jackson's clothes after every game, I would go Fitzpatrick.
Saying a chest hair league? Fitzpatrick all day.
Man's league.
Yeah. I haven't noticed yet. I haven't seen a ton of the Tampa Bay games, but has his helmet fallen off yet? Because I can't imagine with that beard that chin strap holds that on tight enough.
It's questionable.
And just the recklessness that him and McCown always just like do not give a shit.
Throw caution. Did you see the psychotic face he made after that one touchdown?
Did you see the quote from him at halftime? I don't remember which Tampa player was talking about it. Did you see that yet?
No.
At halftime, they were losing, and they said whoever was, I can't remember who it was, someone in Tampa had said they're in the locker room, and Fitzpatrick just looked at him and went, "Man, I'll tell you what. I fucking love football." And the guy's like, "I fucking love football too." And that was their whole locker room speech. The two of them were just like, he's just back there screaming he loves to play football. People that the team likes playing for him too. I mean, I know they have to get Winston out there, but everybody seems to be having fun with him out there. Why not? He's throwing for. I thought I saw first player in history to throw for 400 in 3 straight games.
Amazing.
You said that, and all I thought about was Will Ferrell in Old School when they were doing the gymnastics competition, and he's sunburnt and he's just banging the chairs against the locker, screaming at people. I thought that's what you were going to tell me that Fitzpatrick was doing.
Oh, amazing. Oh, give us more magic. More magic. Well, we'll.
Oh, hold on. Before we go, does Fitzpatrick start this week?
Yes. Yes. I don't think he's going anywhere until he makes a mistake. There's Burke.
Yay.
He made it through the end.
Look, he's got his Hulkamania outfit on.
I didn't want to interrupt all the way. I just wanted to say hello. But
hello, goodbye.
Yeah. Real quick, Burke, does Fitzpatrick start this week?
I say yes. Even with the picks, 2 of them weren't his fault. One was a bonehead play when he's trying to throw it in the flat there. You got to ride it while it's hot. He still made some things happen towards the end. So, and Jameis hasn't played. Still got to shake the rust off, get with the team. So I still roll with Fitz.
When's that bye week too? When's the bye week?
By week 5.
5. So yeah, I mean, why? Yeah, there's no way that they'll throw in Winston unless things go
at Chicago
in the first half or something. Yeah, it could. Just in the first half where Chicago gets up by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then they get in Winston. I don't know, but
or Khalil Mack just turns them inside out.
Yeah,
on play.
Yeah. He could be right next to his buddy Chris Conti. So
sharing a tube
rather than later. Yeah.
Can we take this opportunity to trash the Raiders again since we brought up Khalil Mack? Fuck. They got the 8th most cap room in the NFL, and they were like, we don't have the kind of money to sign this guy. And Gruden had a quote, I think, after week 2, and he was like, we got to find a way to generate a little more pass rush. I'm like, stupid. Did you realize what you did a week ago?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Gruden knows exactly what he did. That dude does not give a shit. He's got stones that drag behind him when he's walking. he doesn't care. He knows the media. He wants the media. He just dropped that bomb there. He's like, all right, the D coordinator is going to come in and talk to you guys. I'm out of here.
But what do you say, though, if he finally realizes if Carr isn't the real deal, gets a quarterback and turns the team around? Are we singing the same tune?
But they're fucked. Defense. They're pinned under that Carr contract just as bad as they're under Gruden's awful 10-year, $100 million deal. They're stuck together, whether they like it or not.
Stuck in the middle with you.
And Mark Davis is a fucking buffoon on top of it. I mean, that thing's that organization's upside down. They need to blow it up and start over again in Vegas. Which should only make things better, right? Move to Vegas, everything gets better.
Facts.
Not true.
Andrew, it was a Pat Mahomes love fest real quick too before you got on. So Patrick Mahomes or Dak Prescott?
Pat Mahomes.
That was just for you.
I could only wish. I mean, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, because Dak sucks.
I was by the Raiders stadium construction site the other night, actually, where they got about two floors, 2 stories up, finally.
J. Mike has the picture of Psycho Fitzpatrick.
I've got more words on this when we say our goodbyes.
Yeah, I'm not benching that guy. That's for sure.
Yeah, what are they gonna? Do you expect terrible chicken shit Cutter to call that man into an office and tell him he's not playing football?
Jameis, go in there and tell him he's benched. Go, get in there.
Yeah, if you want the job, you tell him.
Fight for your spot.
I ain't telling him.
You tell him.
Yeah, well, he's gonna stay. He's gonna keep the starting job just because everyone's scared to tell him he's not the starter.
It's like Office Space. We just corrected that.
Yep.
Not to ruin the fun though, but even to go even further with the Fitz starting thing. I mean, I think Mike Evans has been more successful already with Fitz just launching up Hail Marys and him catching the ball than he was with Winston last year for the most part. I mean, you got to think the receivers like it as well.
Well, he's still the zero yak king. I mean, for what I've seen, Mike Evans still refuses to do anything after he catches the ball. But
funny you bring that up. There was one of his receptions he caught kind of near the left sideline and ran out of bounds on the right sideline, ran across the field, and I heard the play-by-play guy say, like, look at that run after the catch. And I'm like, he maybe went 3 yards forward. I'm like, yeah, he ran 60 yards fucking sideways. He got nothing after the catch on paper.
Yeah. Check the stats.
Watch the tape.
Oh, that's my new screensaver.
Dude,
That is
that's
a pretty awesome picture.
It's amazing.
It's a tremendous human being.
Yes. Someone to aspire to be.
Be him when
You got to respect the guy. He keeps getting a shot as a backup, plays great for like 3 games, and gets a couple $1 million out of that every year. Then plays like shit, and they still keeps his check. He's had a
AJ
really-
McCarron is really good at being a backup quarterback.
there's plenty of them. I didn't even know Matt Schaub's still in the league, and he is. He's still in Atlanta, I think.
Dolphins.
Yep.
Possibly the QB2 of all time.
Listen, he's the king
Hey,
of the pick six. That's for sure.
Him and Andre Johnson back in the day were not a bad tandem to, own in fantasy at one point.
He
I
had
don't
a
know.
short, yeah, he had a very short burst.
Everyone's like,
couldn't
no. No, they did it. There was a time.
I'm going to contribute something. I'm going to bring a random Andre Johnson fact to the party. You know my friend Andre, right? You can come in too, right?
Oh, all right, Gabe, take us home, man.
Jamie, I cannot stop staring at that shit, dude.
No, it's great. Yeah, me neither.
It's
I'm
amazing.
mesmerized by that.
I haven't even looked up the best memes from that yet. My goodness. Okay. Thank you all, the 40 guys. Burke, we were talking that y'all didn't bring on 40s to the pod for the fantasy 40.
I know.
No, that's 12 ounces, pal. We need,
It's actually it's a
Yeah, it's a
16.
pounder.
is that a pounder?
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, respect. 2.5. That's math, JDB. That's math.
Well, I was just trying to
The 2.5 pounders.
that the other two had
Podcast.
theirs, and then it makes the 40. It wouldn't be the 40 without all 3. So
That's
I
not
like
a
that.
bad. That's
I
not a
like that.
bad name though for the pod. You should probably 2.5 pounders, and then you can decide like who you want to make fun of for that week. Like who is the half guy? Like is it Burke? Is it JDB? Is it
it's always me.
Block?
I was going to say, it's pretty
I was going to
consistent.
volunteer to be me.
Well, see, that's what makes you all a good group of fellas that you're willing. I'll be the half this week.
I'm the short straw.
All right, but thank you, fellas. Thank you, 40 fellas, for joining us. I'd like to have each of you say some kind words about yourself, maybe each other, maybe your wife, your dog, whatever you'd like to talk about.
Maybe even your podcast. I don't know.
All right. I'll go first.
Oh, sure.
Or Walk. You can go. He looked like he's always ready.
Oh, no, by no means.
Oh,
Last in, first to lead.
Good
Good
for you,
grief.
sir.
yeah, that's what I do. I just come in and try to take over, and then they're like, "What a shithead." But anyways,
Come to the barbecue late, grab a to-go blade.
so if
There's
you
a
guys
beer.
listen to the 40, you know that I come with some of the most ridiculous takes that probably never happen. But these guys set me straight. I've learned a lot from them over our year and month anniversary. We've been doing it for a little over a year, and we just keep trying to get better and better. And I love Walk and D-Bar. They're two knowledgeable guys, and sometimes their opinions are different, but that's what makes the 40 the 40. It's a good time. Oh, cut.
Just put that on a Hallmark card.
Yeah.
You're welcome,
Not gonna be
buddy.
Quite as kind, but yeah, my wife is awesome. He said say something about something positive, so I'll start with the wife.
Standing
'cause
right there.
she lets me do this type of stuff till 11 o'clock at night after I just
Hi, Ms. Walker.
from a business trip. So and she's awesome. These two dudes are cool. This open bar,
Thank you.
we need to do this again. I mean, that's that goes without saying. Gabe, Jay, Mike, it's been a pleasure. It was great having you on our pod. Even cooler being on this with you guys. Just nice to be able to do it with my buddies on the 40.
Money.
JDB.
Yeah, I've got nothing important to add, much like usual. Thanks for having us on. Another fun.
John, how's the weather?
Could we just go through all of your favorite players and least favorite players one more time?
Favorites we have.
All right, J Mike, you.
Set him up and knock him down.
Begins and ends with that.
Well,
All love JDB.
yeah, no doubt. Definitely giant shout out to you three. Thank you guys for coming on and joining us. Very, very much enjoyed chopping it up with you guys. And also, of course, the time that we got to have on Euros Pod when we first met you guys too. So thank you very much for that. To everyone in the chat, and they came and went rather swiftly tonight. We had a bunch of folks. Shout out to Svoboda. Casey Kasem was in the building. Chris Allen was here. Brandon is the last survivor. So shout out to you, Brandon Rojas. He's still chopping it up with me in the chat. We're talking about the 06 Rose Bowl, where he said Colt McCoy is actually the best backup quarterback in the league right now.
Okay.
I could be convinced of that.
Right. That's
Not a bad take.
We gotta let Brandon know that Colt McCoy is on IR, so he's technically not a backup right now.
There's Walker.
The cold water Walker. All right.
Cold water.
Gunther's in the building. Derek McCreath was also here. I think that was the extent of it. So not a ton of folks tonight, but we had a good time while it went. So thank all of you all for joining us. Again, you can find us on iTunes, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. The list goes on and on. Podbean. So please come check us out, rate us, and review us wherever you can. Obviously, the live show is here on Tuesday nights, 9:30, and we were very close to starting at 9:30 this week, which was fantastic. We're going to try to keep it to an hour moving forward to help alleviate some of the absurdity of your weeks, because you got a lot going on. We didn't so much end on time, but it was a good time anyway. So I'm on Twitter at JMikeCheck, at JMICCheck. The show's handle is at the Open Bar FP, as in Fake Pigskin. Shout out to the folks at Fake Pigskin who continue to put us on with the revamped website. Revamp going on, a lot of good stuff going on with the website. So yeah, check us out. You should be able to see a lot of good things coming up from us in the future. Gabe, take us home.
I can't believe you did that whole thing with Fitzmagic up there.
Bro, when he did that last night, I was so hyped. I was so hyped. He goes berserk like that. Right now? He goes berserk. Deshaun Jackson runs that kick back, and I'm like, oh, it's on. And then it comes back, and that was it.
Penalties, ruining football.
A buddy of mine lost a week because of that callback touchdown.
Oh,
Deshaun Jackson.
Are we really on Spotify?
It sounded really good.
Fact check.
I was gonna say, you filled out that form, man.
I was gonna say like that the spot, like I feel like the Spotify realm is like, I think I made it. Like
we could add that.
It just, I got him to roll and it sounded good, so I went with it. All the other things are definitely true. Spotify, somebody fact check.
I was gonna say,
Serious.
That's even better if you're not. I love it.
We got Burke on the show. You can say whatever you want with no truth behind it.
Pretty true. You wouldn't be the only one.
Swear to God, I could throw a ball over the mountains.
every couple episodes, Andrew has a very fascinating opinion. He's like, well, what do you think Peyton Manning's going to do this week? We're like, football for 2 years. What are you talking about?
Who's running back 26 in standard right now? What?
I got you guys.
That was the last episode.
It was David Johnson. It
made sense after the fact.
All
right.
Sorry.
So it sounds like y'all need to go check out that podcast, and ours tomorrow is when we release it. But we're here live every Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern. So I'm the FF Man Bun. That's the handle too, at FF Man Bun. You can find me there. I tweet things sometimes. And we'll, what do you say, J Mike? We'll see him next week. I think that says everything I need to know with that face. Little cheersy cheers to the camera, and we will see y'all next week. Doses.